Let's talk about the banking sector. A chapter authored by Zafar Masood Sahab, who is the president of Bank of Punjab and member of BOG IPRI, along with Sayem Ali, chief economist, Bank of Punjab. Today we are fortunate to have Sayem Ali, who came all the way along from Lahore. Sir, please.
Ji, thank you. So let me start by congratulating IPRI for this fantastic event and also this book. I think bada relevant topic hai, considering the global events that are taking place. As Dr. Anil highlighted, the tariff wars which have come in and the climate events which are taking place. So I think it's a very relevant topic to bring in. Dr. Anil, thank you for letting us contribute towards this book. So on behalf of Zafar Masood Saab, who could not be here today, I want to talk a little bit about the banking industry. So firstly, the idea of economic security is one that we try to Google and try to find the correct definitions. There are very few which are available. So it remains a vague concept, and I think there are very few countries, maybe a handful of countries, which can claim that they have achieved this economic security. Pakistan is definitely not one of them, right? Let's be honest. Currently, our per capita GDP stands about 30 to 40% below our regional competitors. So India, Bangladesh have incomes which are 30 to 40% higher than Pakistan today. And this was not the case if you look at the start of the century. By 2000, Pakistan had a higher per capita income versus these countries. So we are definitely falling behind. And if you look at some of the islands of success that Pakistan has achieved in the last 2 decades, the banking industry would probably be one of them, right? So we saw a very successful privatization drive in the 90s and then in the early 2000s. Banks today are one of the most profitable entities on the stock market. They are well capitalized, which means the state banks prescribe capital requirements. Out of 34 banks, 32 banks meet those requirements very, very comfortably. There are only 2 small banks which don't, the state banks' requirements are not being met by them. The banks are highly liquid in the sense that the capital that they've placed, the investments that they make, those are highly liquid. And in case of any economic events, the banks are able to quickly deploy that capital for requirements, whether it is government's borrowing or whether it is new investments. So the banks are well placed to achieve that. The banks are highly profitable. We've seen the results over the last 2-3 years. In fact, they're so profitable that the government has increased the income tax on banks to 54%. So success leads to that. And the non-performing loans, the bad assets on the banking sector are only 6%. This is not how the banking industry was 20 years ago. So we can say it's one of the success stories in Pakistan. And no country has achieved economic success or economic security without a very vibrant financial sector. So the banks in Pakistan are well placed to play that role. But we also understand the shortcomings. I mean, we are very honest about it. We know our deposit base is very, very low. In fact, our deposit base to GDP is one of the lowest in the world, lowest in one of the regions. India, Bangladesh have significantly higher deposit base. So that's an area where the banks have not done well. Lending to the private sector, right? That is the key to growth. That is the key to ensuring a vibrant private sector. Again, banks have fallen short. So our lending to the private sector is, again, one of the lowest in the world. So if you compare the kind of credit that banks in India, Bangladesh give to the private sector, we don't even compete. So again, that's an area where the banks have not done well, and there's room for investment. But more worryingly, there's been no new investment in the banking industry since 2008. That was the last time a major global international player entered the Pakistan's banking industry. So these are all shortcomings, and these are areas where focus needs to be done, and banks need to show significant improvement if they are to play a role in ensuring economic security in Pakistan. Why is this? Why are these shortcomings? What are the areas? So one, we know that we have a very large informal economy, right? In Pakistan, our cash in circulation accounts for around 26 to 27% of our money supply, which is abnormally very, very high. I mean, most countries you see the ratio at 5-6%. So we have a very large informal economy. We don't like to pay taxes. We don't like to declare our income. And to be fair, most of the players are very, very small and rural in nature. So for them, getting access to finance is a challenge. But also, the taxation regime in Pakistan is a key factor why people don't want to declare their incomes, right? Because of the fear that FPR will come and start taking more tax from them. The other main reason is the size of the government's deficits. All of it in the last 2 years, 95% of all government borrowing was done through the domestic banking industry. 95%, right? Which is not sustainable. So if the government is taking all the money away, how exactly will the private sector get lending from the banks? So that's a huge challenge. It's not a challenge which has come up in the last 1 or 2 years. It's a last decade or so. Since the 2008 financial crisis, we have seen that the share of government borrowing in the bank, on the banking books has grown to 70%. So 70% of all lending today by banks is to the government. It was 35% in 2008. So massive jump in the borrowing needs of the government. And they're so massive that the total deposits in the banking industry are not enough to meet the demand of the government. So we see the central bank has to inject more money into the markets. So the size of the open market operations today stand at around 13 trillion rupees. So that is the difference between what the government needs to borrow and what the banks can provide them, and that is the gap. So that is the other main issue. The most worrying one is the low trade and investment flows into Pakistan. For decades, last 70 years in fact, Pakistan has missed the train, right? We have, our exports to GDP is 9%, 9 to 10%, one of the lowest in the world. We don't export enough. Investments, it is less than 1% of GDP. So we're not even competing with our regional competitors in these spaces. So if you look at the global banks, the reason why they have been successful in scaling up, becoming so big, is because of the trade and investment flows. So the banks in Singapore, the main reason is exactly that. So what needs to be done? I'll just wrap it up. So what needs to be done? One is regulations. The central bank regulations need to be overhauled. We need to be more integrated with the global economy. We need to be more integrated in the global trade and investment flows. Number two, what needs to happen is adoption of digitization. That's the only way we will be able to reach out to the rural communities, the unbanked communities, and you'll be happy to know that 70 to 80% of all investments currently being done by the banking industry is within that space. And I'll encourage you all to look at some of the programs that the Bank of Punjab has launched in the last 1 year, along with the Punjab government. Some of them are very special, and they look at exactly the space. So thank you. With that, I'll stop here.